Hello everybody, I'm Justin, or nerdSlayer as you guys know me by. If you've seen my series Death of a Game perhaps, or maybe some of my other editorial videos on the channel. I started my channel about 2 years ago, and basically started it on a whim. It was a simple question: why did Star Wars Galaxies fail?
An innocent question, but I had no clue the channel would become what it has become today. When posed with the question of why my favorite MMORPG failed, I realized that there wasn't really an answer out there yet. It started as just a passionate fan wanting to know why MMORPGs can fail, and fail in spectacular fashion, but it quickly became much more. If you watch my early Death of a Game videos and compare them to current videos we make,
Death of a Game, Star Wars Galaxies.
It's night and day in quality, content, and most importantly, we have become more and more effective at answering the question the Death of a Game series is most interested in by exploring company financials, developer testimonies, fan and personal opinions, as well as track information such as patch notes, big content expansions, and significant events in the game or company's history. I might have just started as a fan making YouTube videos, but I feel I can safely say we have become much more than that. Journalism was never really something I was particularly interested in growing up, mostly simply due to me having no exposure to it, but through the growth of the channel and the brand of nerdSlayer, or NS, I have slowly started evolving to becoming an independent video game journalist and hopefully eventually production company.
That's actually why I made this video. I wanted to announce to everybody what we have in store for the future of the channel, but also some upgrades we're going to be doing to our existing content.
Through the Death of a Game series and my other editorials, we are able to get a look on the past, current, and future landscape for MMORPGs. And I would love to continue to do that, and well, far more, as I will later mention. I realized when looking at the way the channel gains its revenue, and well, simply put, 90% of it comes from YouTube ad revenue, which creates a number of problems for the channel. Instead of having to rely on YouTube or advertisement dollars, I want to switch our channel's monetary focus to Patreon.
I realized that for the longest time on YouTube, the past 2 years since we started this journey, I was way too much focused on trying to play YouTube like everybody else would, which is, well, a popularity game. But I thought to myself, well, niche MMOs, they don't try to appeal to everybody. So why would I try and appeal my content to everybody, or try and appeal it to a broader audience in a big popularity sense? My content isn't really made for that, right? My audience is typically older, and is typically an audience who's more interested in long-form analysis and long-form content. So Patreon exists. It's this platform. You can have patrons who give you a certain amount of money every month. Maybe you add goals, maybe you have certain tier lists, like maybe $1 tier, $5 tier, $10 tier, etc. And these have been doing, well, quite fantastically for different content creators who have similar content to mine.
I don't want to rely on YouTube's algorithms as much anymore. I want to be able to make the content that I and you guys want me to create. This allows me to talk about any sort of topic I wish to talk about, no matter how niche the game or the subject might be. So instead of me having to rely on focusing on the popular games in order to make a living and support the channel, I can cover games and topics of all sorts. This allows me a more steady income so I can pay my team, an artist, an editor, a videographer, which naturally means more content. This really completely opens up my freedom to make the kind of content that I really always wanted to make, and it can also support some other great changes and additions to the channel.
Now I'll go over the exact stretch goals a little bit later, but one thing I wanted to highlight specifically first is that the Death of a Game series will be getting a facelift, and that's regardless, or irregardless, damn it, irregardless isn't a word. That's sort of regardless as to how popular the content ends up being. Damn it, where was I earlier? In order to really get an idea of why a certain MMO fails, it takes a lot. It takes financial work. It takes talking to developers, potentially ex-employees. It also takes into consideration maybe how much I've played the game. Maybe I need to reach out to people who have a lot of experience playing the game, right? Death of a Game series on average takes about 1 to 2 weeks to make. Now the upgrades that we're going to be giving the series, the most obvious upgrades are going to be, well, as you see now. I'm trying to get myself more in the public eye. I'm trying to be seen by you guys so you can form a better relationship with me, the content creator, and me, nerdSlayer.
We are going to be ramping up the Death of a Game series with more modifications planned in the future, such as more time and effort devoted to writing, voicing, additional scenes with flair, possible live action scenes or skits. Each episode of Death of a Game will try and be as standalone or transformative as possible. That way, each episode really captures the specific game or company that we're covering. The eventual goal, of course, is to work in the skits, but that's kind of where the Patreon stretch goals come into play. We've designed a couple of milestones for the channel, milestones that essentially serve as stretch goals. These incentivize people wanting to contribute to our cause, as well as holds me accountable for delivering on what is promised. Simply put, As we reach certain rounds of funding, we increase in production, workload, and even potentially work on a brand new series. The guarantee with my push to Patreon is that I will deliver on everything promised and implore you guys to hold me accountable to that. It's important that if you decide to entrust your money into me and into the channel, you are getting what you expected in return. And that's exactly what's promised in this case. After a stretch goal is reached, every perk within that, I will deliver on. That's my promise to you.
What accomplishing the first tier, actually no, I'll say goal. What will also happen after completing the first goal is we will do a behind the scenes video on the making of Death of a Game. Maybe it will help you guys realize the amount of work we put into this kind of content. Now obviously this is something that we haven't done before and will certainly be something interesting to showcase to you guys so you can stop asking us to do like 4 of them a month. Kidding.
We will provide a newly, highly edited produced single-player series dubbed Fatal Flaw. This adds another video upload a month, equating to 3 videos, not counting our podcast. Fatal Flaw is a series that sticks to the detective and noir theme of the channel and plays almost like a CSI episode of sorts. This series runs shorter, sub 10 minutes, and is supposed to be a highly editorialized take on some of my favorite single-player games, but specifically will entail me highlighting something I dub a fatal flaw, which is a particular piece of design or gameplay or etc. that can ruin the immersion of a player. Take the game KOTOR 2 for example. Kreia, this character, preaches an awful lot to you, advice that you can't really agree with from a gameplay perspective. The game punishes those who remain neutral, and essentially it makes it impossible to do such a playthrough. Goal 1 will also add some custom Twitch emotes designed by our illustrator Miguel.
Now the last thing on the first goal is a Friday night dedicated to playing Mafia.
Which will start with me just playing Mafia on various websites, to eventually hosting our own Mafia games live on stream, to finally producing a fully live Mafia show filmed at the location of our eventual studio. These progressions of course are located in the later funding tiers. So in short, if 1,000 of you give us $1 a month, we can create a new monthly series, a weekly Mafia stream, and a behind-the-scenes video about the making of the Death of a Game series, as well as new Twitch emotes and sub goals. Goal number 2 is set at $2,000. It's probably the most important tier. This is a tier that I really aim to reach with the channel, because this goal will allow us to finally have our Death of a Game editor, Tom, edit full-time for the channel. Yeah, he's only been editing as his 3rd job. That's why we haven't been able to put as many great videos out there for you guys. With this goal number 2 reached, we will have a video a week produced and edited by Tom, and that means fully edited, with motion graphics and the like.
What this also means is that we'd be effectively doing 4 videos a month, counting the 2 Death of a Game videos, 1 editorial, 1 Fatal Flaw video, and then of course, live Mafia, live event coverage, and potential documentaries, which of course won't have the same turnaround as the Death of a Game series, but will certainly be in the works.
As an addendum to that, we will also add more current news videos. These will kind of serve something like my current editorials that I've had before, talking about microtransactions, or the ones that I've done talking about why I don't play certain games. These videos are less effort to edit and therefore easier to get out more frequently, which allows us to kind of react to more current topics. We're shooting at doing a couple of these a month as well, so in total you're talking about 5 to 7 videos after this goal is reached. This already puts us at double the workload we are currently at, more than double. But through bringing Tom on the project full time, there's essentially no downside. We get more kick-ass edited videos for just that much more support from you guys. I will literally take half of that $2,000, 1,000 of it, and hand it straight to Tom monthly to get him to quit his day job. Because of this big addition, what comes with this opportunity is the ability to use our new Death of a Game 3.0 formula and recreate old and frankly less than stellar by comparison videos that weren't edited by Tom. This means we can do remastered videos on Warhammer Online, Star Wars Galaxies, and the like. This not only means I can take another chance to tell the story, I can also use the new resources and experience to tell it that much better. I also have received more information from ex-employees and had more time to refine my criticisms and journalism in general. Back then I was just a hobbyist anyway. Maybe now we can even talk to lead developers such as Raph Koster or Mark Jacobs. Goal number 2 will also feature a monthly webcomic featuring Ines, the mascot of our channel, Think Penny Arcade Expo, exclusively for those who donate on Patreon.
And now our last goal we've collectively dubbed full production. If this goal is completed, it allows us to do more ambitious types of content.
Goal number 3 is set at $3,000, and although this is our last stretch goal, it's just the beginning of much more content to come. With the completion of goal 3, I will attend and cover most major live events. I will also do vlogging in costume at the venue, as well as developer interviews and other sorts of content. Basically, whatever kind of content comes to mind.
I think right now we're wading back into the social, very personal, not impersonal kind of gaming. And I think there is success in going back to that simulationist, close-knit community. We saw in like EVE Online, the community is small, extremely dedicated. And now we have things like Star Citizen, which just reached, what, 205 million.
Goal 3 will also include a new chapter for the channel, the push towards fully producing all of our content. In order to have the foundation for such a push, we will inevitably need to hire and acquire more content creators, editors, writers, and artists. With the completion of this goal, I will bring on another content creator to either take on an idea of mine and run with it, or create their own series on the channel. All content on the channel will follow the same simple process. The kind of content that rewards those who prefer a more thoughtful, yet artistic look at topics. New series will be introduced that, like the Death of a Game series, will follow a central theme and be produced in an episodic format. Content that fans of the nerdSlayer or NS movement can just be proud of and want more of. This is a chance to branch out and try many different genres of video games without me having to hold all of that burden on myself personally. In order to bring on new content creators to help us create other series, we need to be able to not only afford one, but also create the systems needed in order to make such a transition smoother for the future. Yes, the future. We won't just stop by acquiring one more content creator. The long-term goal with the channel is to slowly acquire good, talented YouTubers, editors, or writers who want to join our cause and do some real reporting in the world of video games and real analysis, or maybe just something new and entertaining that has the same depth of our Death of a Game series. This would eventually result in us obtaining our very own studio, which is an eventual goal for the channel, and completion of Goal 3 puts us that much closer to obtaining. The studio opens us up to the opportunity to film skits, do more live content like news segments and the like, film the podcast live, do a monthly live Mafia event that's fully produced, filmed at a location or a studio, and then finally a place to house our new content creators, editors, and the like. The ceiling for NS and our yet to be announced official company is as high as we believe we are willing to take it, essentially. More details on this will be released whenever the channel either grows to this point or we achieve our funding goal, and I look forward to reaching out to future aspiring or current content creators on the exciting opportunity to create content for an already established audience and community. And most importantly of all, I look forward to providing you guys more thoughtful yet exciting content.
To complete the level of work that we're trying to achieve here, it's ambitious. I could just stick to doing exactly what I'm doing now, and maybe just hope eventually I'll get to the point that I want to get to. But that's not good enough for me. We're looking to further evolve the community around MMOs and MMOs themselves. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is education, is letting people know why certain games fail, why certain business models aren't particularly effective, and maybe why certain publishers or developers don't have the best business practices. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and it's something that I am now willing to dedicate basically my life to doing. This is now my job in an official capacity, and I look to make more ambitious and more great content, such as our Death of a Game series, and hopefully even evolve that series to be one that's much greater.
As you can see, there is much planned for the channel, and it's exciting that I get to share all of this with you, as well as include you in my journey. I'm happy to say that I can call this, the content creation or investigative journalism of sorts, my job. And I look forward to improving quality, as well as adding new exciting projects to work on for all of you guys to see and enjoy. We are dedicated to making this channel a place for people to trust a more neutral stance on multiplayer games and RPGs and MMOs, a channel that vows to never take irresponsible dollars, will always war against corporate greed, and will remain steadfast sticking up for the common and hardcore gamer alike. I feel like I should have a podium for this part. I just want to thank everyone though for taking the time to watch this video and joining me on my journey. I can't wait to start working on our new content that we have planned for you guys, and I appreciate any and all support, whether it be monetary or just words of encouragement. Thank you, detectives.